So to begin with, one day, an author was actually traveling towards Mysore on a field trip. So there he saw that there were people who were actually killing these wild pigs, because wild pigs are very dangerous and they were ruining their fields, sugarcane fields. So that's why they were killing, and they were basically shooting these wild pigs. And between these wild pigs, there was also a sloth bear. So sloth bear was also there, who was carrying a baby in its arms, you can say. So as author went near it, and author could see that everything was calm and the bear was also shot down. So author noticed that there was some movement in that bear which was shot down. So when author went close to it, he saw that there was a baby sloth which was actually in the arms of the mother, and who was actually moving and who was still alive. So as author saw, author's heart, it completely melted, and he wanted to save this baby bear. And so that's how he rescued the baby bear. And this was the incident where he found this baby bear, and he gifted it to his wife, because he thought that his wife would be very happy to see the sloth bear and baby bear basically, and she would be very happy that she has been gifted a very beautiful animal. Now author's wife, as it was expected, she just loved him and kept it as their own child, and even named it Bruno. So author's wife, she really loved this animal, and not just loved, she even treated this animal like her own child. She never discriminated, and as she was not having any kid of her own, so she completely kept this little animal as her own kid, and she named him, even she Christianized her and named this animal as Bruno. So Bruno, he started growing and bonded with everybody. So as days were passing on, day by day, Bruno was becoming very fond of everybody, and everybody just loved, and Bruno also shared the same love with everybody, and he bonded easily with everybody. So it was very easy to bond with animal like Bruno. And not just that, he was so pampered. Bruno was such a pampered animal that he was having his own bed, he even had his own toys, and he would play with the kids of neighbors. So neighbors' children would come at their place, and everybody would play with Bruno. And not just with children, he would also play with other pet animals like dog and cat, whatever was near him. So Bruno, we can clearly see that he was a very cheerful and a very fun-loving and a very enjoyable creature, who always enjoyed, who always found fun in all the things. But as Bruno was growing, and as Bruno was not very intelligent and was obviously something new, the environment was completely new for him. Okay, as Bruno has always, where bear they live on a tree, they live in a forest, in a jungle, on a tree. But for Bruno, this home was completely a new place, and all the things which were kept in the home were new place, and he was not smart or intelligent that he could find out the difference between the things. Like we human beings, we can read in a bottle what's written on it, and then we know that this is something which is harmful, and we would not try it. But with Bruno, it was not possible. For Bruno, everything was like a plaything. Everything was meant to basically to play. So this happened that one day, one incident happened, and Bruno accidentally, he ate poison which was to kill rats. So the owner has brought author's wife, her name is not given, every time it is mentioned author's wife. So author's wife brought poison in order to kill the rats of the house, which Bruno could not understand that this is a poison, and he ate it. As soon as he ate it, his body started paralyzing. So as his body was paralyzed, he was admitted to veterinary hospital. Veterinary hospital is basically hospital where doctor treats only animals. So that's why it is also known as veterinary doctor or vet, as we say it. So veterinary hospital he was taken to, and was even given injections, and it took some time. As soon as injection was injected into his body, so it took time, and he got back to normal. His body started moving again, and he was completely recovered. But when he came back home, obviously it took few days for him to come back to normal and to come back into good health. So as he came back to normal, then there's another incident, another occasion after few days which happened, where he again drank a gallon of old engine, okay, engine which was actually kept to kill termites. So engine is basically a type of fuel, or you can say an oil, which is inserted into the walls and into the soil in order to kill termites. Okay, termites are like small insect type of things which feed on wood and are beneath under the soil, or sometimes in the wall, or sometimes in the wood. So again, what this Bruno did, he drank it, and again his health completely deteriorated, and he was again moved to hospital. He was shifted to hospital because his health was not fine. Now the days again passes by, and story again moves after a few months. Now the growth of animal and a human being is completely different, and same is the lifespan of these two things. The lifespan of dog is not 70-80 years like it is of human beings. It's just 10 years maximum. I'm talking about is 10 to 12 years. So similarly, the size of the animals, of all the pet animals and all other animals also, it increases very fast. If you plan to adopt a dog, you will see that within 1 year the size from this, it will go to this huge. So similarly happened with bear also. He started growing a lot. He started growing very, very fast, and his size also increased. Now imagine, now this much bear, well, you will still find it cute, but a huge bear, obviously everybody would be scared of bear, because it is not something you keep it as a pet. Okay, everybody don't keep a bear as a pet, so it was very difficult to keep him as a pet. Now Bruno, as he started growing in size, so author's wife also changed his name to Baba. So if the question comes where Baba is written, do not get confused. Baba refers to Bruno, and Bruno also, it is written sloth bear or baby bear. So all these names are for just one animal only. Now, as discussed earlier, soon his size started becoming a problem to everybody, and even children, they were afraid of him. So earlier, the children, neighbors' children and kids who used to come and enjoy and play with him, now they were really afraid of Bruno. Though Bruno was not at all something which was causing a lot of harm. He never gave any harm to anybody, but he became a threat because the kids who were near him were afraid because of his size. He has grown too much. He became so huge that everybody was afraid. Even the dogs were afraid of him. So as people, they were afraid, and people would not even come to author's house because they were so afraid of this animal. So everybody decided and everybody agreed that Bruno should be sent to zoo, because this is the right time to send Bruno to zoo. Otherwise, Bruno is going to cause lot of problems to people who were around the house or whoever visited the house. But author's wife was not ready to send Bruno. Now imagine, for author's wife, Bruno was just like her own kid. Okay, she always treated Bruno like her own kid. So it was very difficult for author's wife to send him away from herself. Now imagine a mother sending her kid away from herself. So it's very difficult for a mother. Similarly, it was very difficult for author's wife to send Bruno away from her. Now, but she finally has to agree because everybody was forcing her and everybody asked her to do so for the safety of other kids around the house. Now, after all the official paperwork was done, so Bruno was ready to send to the Mysore Zoo. So there was a zoo, a very popular zoo, and which was some kilometers away, 60 kilometers, an hour drive away from author's home, but they finally agreed and they sent him to Mysore Zoo. Now, as he went to the zoo, so author's wife, who was now left alone at home and she was not having any kids or any other pet animal, she felt terribly weak. She did not like at all that, and she was missing Bruno a lot. She started missing Baba or Bruno so much that she could not even she was not even able to eat properly, and she became extremely sad. That her sadness, she could not deal with it. She could not deal with the part which was missing in her life, that was the place of Bruno. And the same thing was going on with Baba as well. Even Baba or Bruno was not eating well at the zoo, because he was also missing the wife, the author's wife, equally, because he also treated her like his own mother. So that's why even he was not able to keep well with everything, and he was also not able to perform well. So at the end, she decides to meet him after 3 months. So 3 months passes by, and she finally decides that she would go and meet Baba, because she is unable to cope up with all the emptiness which she had in her life. Now, as soon as she decided that she would go and visit zoo, everybody told her that you should not go in the zoo. There is no point going in the zoo, because Baba is not going to recognize you at all, because it's been 3 months and Baba would have completely forgotten about you, that who are you, because this is the tendency of animals. Animals, though they do not have very good memory like human beings, okay, animals, their intelligence power is nothing unequal to when you compare it with humans' intelligence and human brain. So that's why everybody told her that Baba is not going to recognize you, and there is no point of going over there. But as soon as she went there, Baba recognized her in a jiffy. Jiffy is within few seconds. So as soon as she went in the zoo, and as soon as she saw Baba, Baba also gave the same gesture of love to her. So immediately she realized that Baba obviously has not forgotten, and he also missed her as much as she did. So that's the reason, as she came to know that Baba is not keeping up well and he's not eating, so she went to zoo, and in order to meet Baba, so that Baba could actually eat something and keep himself well. So, but when she went there, she saw condition of Baba, that Baba has also turned so thin and Baba is also extremely sad. She decided that she could not leave him over here, and decided that she would actually take him back with her. So that was the point when she actually wanted now that she cannot leave her child alone in that zoo, because they both are suffering. Okay, it's both the parties, author's wife and Baba, they both are equally suffering, and they both are equally unhappy living in their present situation, and that's why they decided that now she'll be bringing him back. And author also agreed to it. Author also said that okay, fine, we can bring him back. But it was not an easy task to bring back Bruno just in a jiffy. Like, you cannot just go and ask zookeeper to give him back and zookeeper would give it back. No, it's not the case. So that they went to the zookeeper. Zookeeper completely denied, because now Baba was actually a government property, a government thing basically. Now a wife does not has any right over Bruno or Baba. So what they have to do in order to get Bruno back, they have to write a letter to zoo superintendent, and then he would actually give them permission, and then only they can bring him back. So they went home, they wrote a letter, and finally zoo superintendent, he agreed, and that's how they brought him back. Now when they brought him back, now her wife, the author's wife, was very extremely happy, and everything went back. And they have also built a special island for Bruno. There was a special island which was in the middle. So on one corner of the house in the garden area it was there, and it was in middle and covered with deep dry pit. Okay, so there was a hole which was dig outside that island in order to make a space that Bruno cannot come out of that island and nobody could go inside the island. There was just a type of rope which was tied from where they can go, but Bruno cannot come out. Okay, so it was like a small zoo kind of structure which was built inside their house only, so that the wife does not miss Bruno, and Bruno is also able to come back, meet her whenever she or he wants. Okay, and they also kept all his belongings over there into that island. Everything was kept, whatever things which Bruno liked and whichever things Bruno wanted, everything was kept in that island, on that island. And that's how we see that what kind of love these two share was now back again, and they both could actually share and keep their love as they were actually keeping.